So my name is Jason Tounsley. I'm the owner of Tounsley Electric. I grew up over in Bozeman, and then in about 1995 I moved here to Billings. And I worked in the archery shop here for a while, and then actually started an apprenticeship in 1999, and been here ever since. So I moved to Billings in like 94, 95, and the reason I moved here was to go to VOTEC school. I was going to go to school for computer-aided drafting, and made it about a semester and decided that that wasn't for me. So just kind of bouncing around. I was doing a lot of archery and archery hunting at the time, so I got a job at the local archery shop, worked there for a while, and then realized that wasn't gonna pay the bills long term. So through that job I met some other guys, got in with an apprenticeship with a local contractor here in town, and in 1999 I started my apprenticeship. Worked for that company for 9 years, did my apprenticeship, got my journeyman's license, worked 5 more years, got my master's license, and then left there and went out on my own. When I went out on my own, I didn't really have a plan, just I knew that I didn't want to work for that employer anymore. So went out on my own, just started doing little odd jobs here and there to pay the bills. I had a 3-year-old son and a wife and a house payment and a truck payment, so just to keep the bills paid I'd pick up odd jobs here, a basement remodel, finishing a bathroom or whatever it might be, hooking up a ceiling fan for a friend. And slowly that just kept growing and growing, and next thing I know I had people asking me if I could give them a price for this building or that building. And yeah, almost 16 years later, we got Tounsley Electric, and I've got 23 employees and 10 trucks driving around, and a bunch of apprentices and office staff, and this is what we are now. So some of the trickiest parts of transitioning from working from somebody else to working on my own, I had a lot of responsibilities in my old job, so that part wasn't different. The role wasn't different. I still interacted with the customers the same, still did all the work, had to do all the paperwork. I had to finish out the paperwork by doing the billing, but that was a small difference. I'd say the biggest difference was just there wasn't somebody there to tell you what to do every day. Nobody there to tell you what the next move was. This is how you do this is how you do that. It was basically look at what you're doing, find the bottleneck and where you're at, or what the biggest problem you faced was, find a solution for it, implement it, and see if it worked. And once it was done, sit down and figure out, did that work well? If that situation arises again, or a similar situation arises, should I handle it the same way? Would I handle it different? But yeah, just the self-reliance aspect of it. And an electrician in general is pretty self-reliant. You're out on the job site making decisions on your own, but once you own your own business, it definitely goes to another level. Yeah, the transition in my family life, in my personal life, as opposed to professional life, the biggest thing, of course, is there's not a steady paycheck coming in anymore. There's no guarantees. You go from somebody pays for your insurance, and you got a nice 401k, and you're getting 40 hours every week, maybe 50 hours every week. You've got a company vehicle that somebody pays for the gas for, does the oil changes in, does all the maintenance. Basically, you just show up for work and do your job and then go home. That's suddenly gone. Suddenly, you don't know when the next paycheck's coming. You work and you work and you work, and you go and collect bills, and then you look and you say, okay, here's the bills that I have for the business, and I'll pay those, and this is what's left over for me and my family. And how much of that do I use to pay our bills, and how much do I invest into the business again? So yeah, just the certainty. You take on a lot more risks. You have nobody. There's not multiple people helping you find work and stuff like that. You're very much on your own, and that's definitely a different feeling than working for somebody else. Professionally, probably some of the most rewarding things have been the relationships I built with some of, I guess I'd say, employees. I don't think of them as just employees. My brother was doing electrical work for other companies. He came to work for me, and just watching him progress through running commercial jobs, and then eventually turned into an estimator, project manager, and now he pretty much runs the commercial part of Tounsley Electric, which is probably 80% of our business. And he's got a great relationship with a lot of contractors here in town, big contractors, and just watching him grow professionally and personally. Like, he's a different person now. Same thing, he's married, he's got a daughter, Kylie, and watching them grow up and stuff, it's very rewarding. Being on my own, being my own boss, probably the biggest benefit for me to that, or the biggest draw to that for me, is the not having to answer to somebody else. Being my own boss, which is kind of a misnomer. I'm not really my own boss. We got 20 some employees that I answer to, and a whole bunch of customers I answer to. So to say I'm my own boss isn't necessarily correct, but having the freedom to make my own decisions. This is the direction I want the company to go, and this is how I think we're going to get there, and we're going to try it, and if it doesn't work, we'll readjust and we'll make a new plan and we'll go do that. And just having that freedom to do that is big for me. Free time, I love having the ability to move my schedule around so that I can go to my kid's piano recital at 2:00 on a Tuesday afternoon. I can move things around. So helping with the NPLB and doing these wounded vet hunts, I can take off for a week and go do that and move my schedule around and make that worthwhile. So yeah, just the freedom is a big one. So now that we're at this size, grown to the size we are now, one of the driving ideas we're working on now is giving back to the community. That's something that Tounsley Electric's, we're part of the community. Our wives and girlfriends are teachers and real estate agents and librarians, and our kids go to the schools here and stuff. Like, we are part of the community, and we've done very well because of this community, and we're focusing on giving back to the community more. And we do that in a couple different ways. There's an organization we work with, No Person Left Behind Outdoors. They provide outdoor hunts, adventures, outings to Purple Heart recipient wounded veterans. We do help with a bunch of fundraising there. We do a golf tournament for them for a fundraising. I have several employees that we each take a week off, and we go and we help guide these hunts, help cook for the hunts, stuff like that. So we're very involved with that organization. We've sponsored West High football, West High wrestling, Skyview soccer, girls volleyball up in Skyview, and those are just opportunities that have come across easy. Friends of ours, customers of ours, have a daughter or a son playing on one of those sports, and they'll come to us and ask, and we always say yes to those, and we'll probably say yes to you, so go ahead and send your kid down. But beyond that, trying to find opportunities to give back to the community in places that aren't so well established, that there aren't easy pathways to do that. So one of the things we want to do is help some local fighters. So my kids, my sons and myself are fairly well involved in the jiu-jitsu community, grappling community here in Billings and in Montana. And one of the things we want to do is give back to some of those fighters. So we're going to sponsor a local fighter here, try and help him come up through the ranks, give him the opportunity and some of the resources he needs to take his sport and his craft to the next level, because there aren't a lot of opportunities for somebody there. It's there's not a school set up already that's going to give you the money and the jerseys and all that stuff. They go to these training camps, they have to travel, things like that, and they need money for that. And those are the kind of opportunities we'd like to search out. So if you have some of those, again, send your kid my way and I'll talk to him about it. But yeah, things like that are kind of where we're going to move our focus to. Some of the grindhouse fighters here in town, we're probably going to sponsor. One in particular we're going to sit down and talk to this week. And then, yeah, anything we can do to help the community. Some of the things I get excited about for the future of the business is just where we've set ourselves up now and some of the cool projects we get to be part of. When we have contractors now coming directly to us and saying, hey, we have a customer who has basically unlimited resources or enough resources to build this vision. They have this vision of what they want to build, and they can spend the money to do that, and they've told us to go out and pick the best team to accomplish that, and they say, we want you on that team. That's a pretty exciting opportunity. It's kind of what every contractor kind of aspires to. It's kind of the dream job. It's not, and not from a making money standpoint, but from a standpoint of we get to work with other people who are driven in their field, other professionals in their fields, in their trades, that we get to build these cool projects that not everybody gets to be part of. And that's not to say that the basement remodel down the street isn't just as important to us, because it is. They differ in size and scale, but not in importance. But it's just a cool opportunity. It's a new thing we get to work on. It's something we can expose our employees to, let them be part of, get them the experience with, and it's a fun project.